Take two. It's 3:47, 3:48 p.m. November 4th, 2020. This is a book club review. I finished Cast Off by Stephanie Pearl McPhee, and in listening to the very end of the audiobook, I love that audiobook. It's about knitting, and I recommend anybody who has anything to do with mental illness gets to listen to that. And if you don't have time, place the last 10 minutes of that audiobook into perspective. Should you have mental illness or you know somebody with mental illness, look at the last 10 minutes of that audiobook and place into who a person is by what they hold most important. Okay, so she's talking about, I'm a knitter, and all my life I spent all that time waiting when I could have been knitting. And this is a beautiful thing. So you don't have to be a knitter to apply this logics. You can be anything, but when you have a passion, I guess, or anything on the top of your mind, anything that's like, hey, this, right? And whatever this is, we go to work and we have workplace politics. We go home to our families. We have family politics. All these different politics and all these things weigh on our minds. And in this, anything that alleviates all that weight, you can guarantee you don't have to be a knitter, because what you are and what you do, what's most important in your life, that's a reflection of either who you are or a reflection of what you're not getting, or maybe what makes you feel better. It holds a place in your life that's fundamentally so important. So place the last 10 minutes of what she says to what's most important in your life, your priorities. Doesn't matter what your priorities are. You can place them into the category of survival, right? We all know about survival. You need to eat. You need to fuck. You need to do all these things in order to survive. So, with that said, I fully encourage you to try Cast Off by Stephanie Pearl McPhee, or at least listen to the last 10 minutes of it. You will love that audiobook. Number 2 audiobook. I just started listening to After Anna. And I was reading about this author who wrote Girl on the Train. And she said some authors aspire to create a book where you just can't stop turning the page. This is one of those books. Only I get to listen. Now, the second point about After Anna I'd like to share with you is my thoughts on, and I've had these thoughts for a very long time, about creating kind of like doing what they're doing in this audiobook. There are two narrators, or two people reading this story, and I love it. One's a guy, one's a girl, and they each read a chapter after chapter, and they're leapfrogging, right? You read this chapter, I'll read this chapter, and it goes on down the line. I got into just over an hour, 24 minutes. I got up to the next chapter. I believe it's chapter 10. So these two people are reading one chapter each, and is very well done. I love this audiobook, After Anna, because it's done this way. This is the first audiobook I've heard done this way. And not only that, I'm loving the story. Right from the very first few lines and all the way through, I want to know more about this story. So well written. And I'm one of these people who, I remember the title of the book, but I never remember the author. Or, the author's last person I think of when I think of the story, right? And bad on me, my bad. Because, you'd think the author would matter to me. It's their story. See, when I'm trying to create this business, and I'm like looking up and trying to contact people about marketing my products or services, and I'm like, hey, so I contacted the Covent Garden Market, and Amy, she sent me this here pop-up shop application. So awesome. So I'm like, oh, well, these things come with the location, and what am I going to sell at a pop-up shop? Because I was going to create a route, and yes, I've gone off track. It's a book club thing, and I'm talking about my business. The two are correlate directly with a book, my business, and the products and services shared. Because my thought was to have a collection of people who would pay into a membership if they're interested in writing a story and help me write Stories Told Unfold, so that it can be my book, but it's also our book, because this person's writing, I guess they call it ad lib, and they write the part of their character. I give the name, I give the situations and circumstances of everything that's going on, and they share what they think the character would do or say. I think this is an organic and a very real way, instead of me writing what everybody says and doing everything from just me, because sitcoms, movies, and all these things, they use a collection of people who work together, and I think that's a really good idea, because then all of a sudden the nuances flourish, and all of a sudden the story becomes much more vivid and alive, because now it has all these tones and different perspectives. And when you use voices, not only can it be videoed and reenacted, but it can also be spoken and told by one person, or by two people, like in this audiobook, or by each character. And they don't have to act it out, they just got to read it. So that brings me to book 3, Crafting as a Business, by Wendy Rosen. I heard about Wendy Rosen. Actually, first I heard of the Rosen Group, and I'm not very far into it. I'm only on page 20 and 21 of this book, and it's talking about a business plan. Really awesome. And in the business plan, just like the pop-up shop, what would be the products be offered? Well, other than products and services, I've got multiple real life products that I can put at this pop-up shop, and I've ran them down. And I'd like to be able to do this at Covent Garden Market, Western Fair, the Farmers Market out on Dundas East, Gibraltar's, and out in Masonville. I heard they do a kind of like a parking lot market thing. Never been there, but I've heard about it. So I'm trying to contact, and I've already went through the process of trying to contact these administration to find out the rules, regulations, and how much it costs for one day, so I can go on a circuit and advertise my wares, whether it be products or services or the two combined, right? And Tapestry of Culture. I'm only on chapter 2, page 24 and 25, but the story that I'm writing is all about what I shared earlier, just yesterday or a couple days ago, about language and how it shapes culture and how it shapes views, perceptions, and feelings, creating actions. Spray paint. I'm on page 150 and 151, and it goes to 155. I've been on that page for the last 2 or 3 days because I've been busy reading other books and doing other things, including contacting the people I need to contact so that I can get my business off the ground, so I can invest and pay for my liability insurance as well as the space I need, so that I can go these places on a circuit and share what is possible. Because if we're building the future, you might see the future has already been built, right? And since we already know Stevie Nicks, Rihanna, and then years and years and years later, we see Rihanna, and she has a collection of all these amazing songs, and Wouldn't You Love to Love Her? Yeah, you would I would stay. Diamonds. All these amazing, awesome songs, and gorgeous, and just hits the heart. And then you hear on After Anna, oh, voices. You have postpartum psychosis. You're having a baby, you had a baby, and now you got these voices telling you let her go. Yeah. And then you hear about voices, Son of Sam, and all these other people. Ooh, that different things giving you commands. Obey. There, you know what? Think. You need to know what's right and wrong. Then you need to understand not all voices are good for you. And then you need to know what have voices done to other people. Hey, I heard on CBC talking to a retired military personnel who was the one of 2 key mission men who had to turn the key and push the button to detonate a nuclear device. And he asked a question. And this was a great interview. Well, if the president's giving the command to press the button, the football, What powers are influencing his decision or command? Because I have a gun, and even so, the partner I have can't turn the key without me. But because of leverage and duress and all these other things in life that we have no control over, yeah, we have your family hostage, and if you don't turn that key, we will slowly kill them. Oh, 1, 2, 3, press and ignite the bomb. The Great Gazoo. We will put a bomb in everybody's living room or in kitchen, so if they're ever pissed off, they'll just push by and boom. Thank you, the Flintstones. So, I share this because when it comes to critical thinking, every author and every story, to some degree, shares how to discern and critically think about what's going on in their personal life. And this is kind of what me trying to offer solutions to families and how to teach kids, well, learn yourself and being able to pick apart how to figure something out as a parent, as a child, as a spouse. And how do you give your kids the advice that you wish you had when you were a kid yourself, when you have a world that will use everything against you? So, when you understand that the state, and you've heard stories and seen movies maybe with Will Smith about at war with the state or something. A state is not the government, although it can be the government in one context. But if you're self-governing and you're at war, then a state at war is your mental or your mind, and you don't want to rust. So we're forever forging our mental ability and our toughness, our sharpness, our strength. We do not need to be the weakest link. And when you find out your weakest link is whatever you're uncomfortable about. So if you have kids at school who are belittling your child or preying upon or even creating weak links based upon their inability to defend themselves, or, hey, you got chinks in your armor, you're going to fall down. All of a sudden, language, hence their view in this book, language creating views, and this is what I mean by creating cultures. If you use chinks in the armor, oh look, these things are your fallacies. And by creating a self-narrative of, oh, they think I'm this, or oh, they think I'm that, all of a sudden those chinks in your armor become the big weak links that will crumble and make you fall, because now you're in question about yourself and your self-brainwashing as to who you are or what you believe in. And because it's a prejudice created by just the language, chinks, now all of a sudden you're subconsciously linking it to a race. And when you look at China and you look at Ma China, and you go machine. Oh, look, machine is Ma China. Now, this is subconscious, and this is how the subconscious works, and this is how you have a perception shaping the view of a person, shaping a subconscious narrative, going, oh, the machine is from China, and now if I was, let's say, and you hear about this, businesses or people creating fronts, hey, we will set up a laundromat and we will clean all this criminal money through our laundromat. So now all of a sudden, all this money is legitimate and not illegal. So when you apply the criminal factor to creating mob mentality, and we always want to put the focus on something other than us because we don't need to go down for what we've done. So we will create the language and have people having a prejudice towards, hey, we don't like China. We will make the Chinese the enemy. Hey, we don't like the States. We'll make the States enemy. Remember, a state at peace is a state not at war. Okay? Remember that. And always remember, if I want to shape your view, I will put your focus on what I want you to look at or focus on or whatever. And this is where intention lies. Yes, I said that. This is where intention lies. Because when you see a lie, you're going to focus on the lie. What are you lying about? Meanwhile, a magician is making you focus on this, while the sleight of hand is taking money from your pocket. And this is what destroys the idea of business. Because, oh, look, we are selling you this, or, oh, you have to sell out, or all this stuff. You know what? You don't need my product. You don't need my business or my services. But if you did, a business was originally created to help. And it was not meant to monopolize or become a juggernaut that owned a town or a province or a country or even the world, right? Not supposed to be that way. And this is where things have gone out of balance because, once you have all this money, you can buy all these different products and services and businesses because they need money so they can grow and expand. Well, if you don't want to grow and expand and you're just trying to take care of your family, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a business that allows people who want to just take care of their family. They don't need to become a juggernaut. And instead, they want a whole bunch of different stuff so they can teach their kids and employ their family and friends and other people in the community and offer them opportunities. That's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to make my past, my present, and my future proud of me and to show the value of each one of them in my life and how important they were to me. Because apparently I have separation anxiety, which means I find it really hard to let go of the people I have loved. And this is normal because they were of value and they still are. I'm not the only one who feels that way. And I do not need to create a juggernaut empire and to shun them and get even with them by creating all this cash when it's they who have helped me become the man I am now. Same with building a body or any relationships, any of it. Because without my past, I could not be the man I am. And if I wronged anybody in the past, guess what? Even this after Anna, you may have regrets. And after Anna is all about, I don't know what, but it sounds like it's all about regret and trying to reconcile past wrongs. Like apparently something went horribly wrong and he had to go to trial and he's trying, I don't know, I just finished chapter 9 in a great book. So when I'm trying to create businesses that also help me expand my potential creative side, and we all have that, it's just not all parents know how to access the child's motivation to want to try new things they've never tried. I've tried this with my kids, but my kids are adults now. I have lost all that time, all my life, on building the relationship with my ex-wife and our children because I was not at peace. I was not at war. I just was not at peace because I have fixed these things in my life, and I found out these things were created from a very young age. That's called stigma. And stigma retards you because now you can't learn, because now you're in this mode where you can learn stuff, but you can't learn and apply it to the things that are really the most important in your life. So when I seen this meetup about kids, parents, and community all working together to help each other, that's what I've been trying to do for past. That's why I created all these different paths to creating relationships. Because no matter who you are, single parent, you're a family, you're an orphan, or you're living in abandoned all by yourself. By creating different paths to meeting people, all of a sudden, every time you meet somebody new, your world expands and new horizons can be seen. Because all of a sudden, just knowing that one person opens up your world, and maybe they will open up their world to you. Maybe not. It's the energy. So even though I might not get along with this person or that person or whatever, you have to look. Is it racism? Maybe. And how that racism created? What if it was created by lifestyle or lifestyle choices? Sexuality or sexuality choices? See, we're in a plastic world where your environment shapes who you are, how you think, how you feel. So, in understanding this, you can unwittingly create your own worst problems and not even realize that, oh, how I'm treating this person is a direct result of how they see me. And now, because I'm treating them badly, now they're taking it out on people I love and care about. Well, that's no good, because I don't know anybody who wants to go around creating wars. I mean, when I was a little kid, I would play with my little army men, I'd set up these war scenes, and then I'd take a tennis ball or firecrackers and but I don't ever want to live that in real life. See, that's the thing about stories. Stories are created to help, to entertain, and take your mind off problems or real life, or even just to give you some kind of new perspective on something, so that all of a sudden you can take cast off and turn it into the most funnest, most incredible story you've ever heard, because it's funny and it's a metaphorical book based upon real life and how to adapt to the changing environments, and how you could make life better. I am so glad to all these authors who help shape and put in perspective real life and the power of relationships and how to get along with people, and how to deal with all these things that nobody teaches you how to deal with this stuff. Even religion and your government help in a whole multitude of ways to try and make life better. See, that's where we all work together. It's changed if you place into a person's life a system that's designed to divide and conquer, or even kill all the weak people, right? Oh, we only got this many females in the world, and we're going to have to take out the males so that our females are ours to control. See, that works in stories, but in real life, let's say you go to school, you're at high school, you're going through puberty, and if you can't be able to make friends with girls, or vice versa with guys at school, or even just be able to be friends and not be a social outcast, then all of a sudden your life can get better, because now you can be friends with people. And if you have a separation anxiety where you have to cling on to somebody, then that says that somewhere in your past, the people in your life that you really love could not be a part of your life. And this is how being in a group can actually help you, because then you can understand why we have these stories of strength and being able to let go without having to go around killing that person or stalking them or any of this stuff. Because now you're having your emotions, and this is where you get psychopaths and sociopaths, and people are like, what's the difference? Well, the sociopath can't control their emotions, whereas a psychopath has had to condition themselves to turn off all their emotions, or even to channel them and take all that hate and all the reasons that they can't form healthy relationships, and they've had to channel it into building a bigger body, or channel into being the life of the party, or do all these things. These things are all good, but just like dieting and becoming anorexic or bulimic, it can really hurt you. And it will hurt the people around you too, because they're witnessing you implode and self-destruct and hurting yourself, when other people are making you feel like it's your fault, when it's not your fault. Nobody's ever taught you how it fixed these things or even how these things were created. Language, it really does define so much of how we think, how we feel, and how we are shaped as a human being and as a culture and a society. Hey, thanks so much.